make your life shine. You gotta be working to get the woman and the wine. Keep the beat and get your hands in the air. Shuffle it deep cause it's an African affair. To Buffalo Park and our home at St. George's. We're bringing the silverware back on the gorgeous. That's the way of the warrior. That's the way of the warrior. That's the way of the warrior. That's the everyday warrior.
Sit down, coming out of PE town. One drink, find a shot, never mind your liver, get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle, have a Gino shot.
Gino's shot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle, get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Center Stage. It's time. There it is. Nicole Worthington, welcome, Worthington.
Going back a long way there.
Van Steenhoven, Worthington now. And it's been, that just shows it's been a long couple of years.
Yes.
I think 1995, 1996, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It must have been.
You were playing for Fame, I think. And I think
Fame, yes.
Yes, remember that.
Yeah, she's like, it was Jenny Zeely
Yes.
was the lead there.
My dad was in it too.
No ways. Art.
Yes, he played the music teacher.
Art von Steenhoven was the music teacher. You would love that. You would absolutely love that. And it's strange how over the years we've just blended in and out of each other's lives somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's PE, you know.
It is very much
not a big place.
No.
You know.
And if you live most of your life here,
Yes.
you're bound to run into the same people over and over again.
I think it's your love of theatre and your love of music and all things arts that's probably kept you close and kept you around.
Yes.
So I'm wearing my shirt. Can you see?
Lovely, very blingy.
How do you like this? Hi everybody, how's it? Welcome to Gino's Spot, and this is live. We're going live right now. It's Monday. It's Monday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a beautiful day outside.
Yes.
And we normally do our Tuesdays, obviously, and we will be rebroadcasting. This is a rebroadcast if you're watching it on Tuesday, and so you can put things in the comments as well. Comments in the below in the comment section, and we'll answer for sure. But we're not going to answer live. We're only answering live now on Monday, so you're really like time traveling as well.
Yes.
Gino's Spot time traveling, and also thank you to our sponsors, obviously Fitch and Leeds, been fantastic, and I know you know Justin.
Yes. Well, Justin was in my matric year at VP.
Matric year at VP, which I was
Yes.
also at VP. You know?
Yes.
So it's an old scholars thing happening here.
And he's a friend of my brother's.
Oh, excellent! And your brother was at VP as well?
No.
Wasn't. Where was he?
He was at Harvest.
Harvest. There we go. Good boy, eh? Good lad. And so and Justin, what a legend. He helps us out all the Fitch needs. You can see behind us here we've got all the penguin juice, I call it. It's the new penguin juice that they've got. They're giving a little bit to the Senkob every time they sell one of these, which is it's like a pineapple lemonade.
It's
But you
lovely.
put it, there it is. You put it with a bit of tequila, and it's really nice.
I can
actually.
imagine that. Or a bit of Bacardi. I suppose you could make like a pina colada type.
Absolutely, but I'm sure you're the lady who knows how to mix up some sort of anything you like with this stuff, you know. Gary's reminding me here, the pantomime is on at the moment, and that's some theatre for you.
Yes, well,
Nicole.
I'm taking my niece tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, you're going to be there. It's obviously 3rd to the 22nd of December, so we're well into it, and let me tell you, it's fantastic. It is so slick. that show.
I'm looking so forward to
You know,
it.
for me, my favorite, the harmonies, the huge harmonies that are in that thing. I describe it like an optic fiber with like 100 little wires inside that are all going parallel. It's absolutely brilliant. The choreography, the dancing, the music, the whole vibe of the thing is fantastic.
I'm looking forward to it.
Pantomime with, you know, the big old dame coming in as well, you know, always at the end. Doing
And two of my pharmacist friends have kids in it.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, well, and it's great. You know, they also have. Obviously, the kids are coming all the time. They get they get them going from the stage. So I wasn't ever into the pantomime. Did you ever act in a pantomime?
I'm not a pantomime. I used to do with Sharon Rother and Linda Louise the Esmeralda elephant type thing. So I've done kids theatre.
Yeah,
You know?
okay.
You never want to be the bad person because
right.
you get beaten up.
Were you not the bad? Why do I remember the Queen of Hearts?
No, that was Candace.
That was Candace.
No, it wasn't. That was Marlies Boyens, actually,
Marlies Boyens.
in Showtime.
Showtime. Were you one of the cards there?
No, I did the next Showtime.
You did the next one.
After
Oh,
that, like
you
a
did
year
the
or
one
two
after.
later. Yeah.
I always think to myself, but it was probably Candace. As
Candace,
well.
yes.
She was the the off with their heads. All the roses.
And Candace is still killing it.
No, yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Somebody tag Candice van
Lichtenborg.
Lichtenborg, please.
She's going to be in Adam's Family now in Cape Town, in
Man.
musical, back on stage. She's been doing a lot of TV and
it's amazing.
stuff lately. So
She's done plenty acting and stuff as well. And I saw her in a horror alien movie.
yes, she played Mother Zero in what was that? Resident Evil.
Resident Evil.
Oh.
Hey, she was in a horror movie. How's that? Oh, Candice, not a legend as well.
Yes,
Always
totally.
out there. And I always picture you together. That's why. 'Cause I think you were quite tight. at
We
the
were.
time,
We were.
and just both of you are out there. You know, I mean, you can't deny that Nicole is always. You've always been that person. You're not the soft sort of sit in a
Not
corner.
a shrinking violet.
Not a shrinking violet as well. You're out there. You're a big protea coming. Wow! And I love it, you know, because in the end, that's what life. You've got to live your life. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What's your theory on that? What's your sort of on life on getting because you are that outgoing person.
Yeah, you know what? I think life. Just enjoy it.
You've always been like that.
Yes,
Where did it come from? Your mom, your dad, you.
I think I quite am my dad's child. My dad's always been
He is.
yes, a little bit larger than life. My mom's and my dad's super smart as well, and witty, and
Yes.
always there with the quips and
loves the comedy, yeah.
you know. So
I know he sent me some stuff over the years. He'll write out something and he'll send it to us. Oh, I love it, you know.
absolutely, and super musical as well.
Yeah.
My dad's got a real ear for music, whereas my mom was more formally trained, and my dad just absolute ear for it. So I
Did
think
you play?
I played the trombone.
Oh.
Yes, in the jazz band. I was first trombone.
Oh, lovely. In the jazz band. And you know, I always think, I saw this little meme the other day of a guy who left his phone on while he was practicing trombone.
Yeah.
And it was on voice recognition, and all you see is pop, 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 pop. And he sent his wife this like 3 pages of pop, pop,
A
pop.
foghorn.
Wah, wah, wah. Oh, and so, but you didn't really continue it afterwards, or?
No, I played with the old grey jazz band for 1 or 2 years after,
Lovely.
and then things
it
got a bit busy with studies.
Studies and stuff like that. But no, we're not gonna get to the studies yet. We're gonna talk about the wine shed.
Yes.
Because, that's RHBC's run. There you're the curator. You run it for them and do it.
Yes.
But it's your baby in the end.
Pretty much. So it was, brainchild of Matt Repton, who's
Yes.
one of the owners there, and thought, they've
Somebody
got-
tag Matt Repton, please. He's got to come on the show. I need him on the show because he's a character in this town.
Yes, also ex-VP, so
Yeah,
he was
excellent.
2 years ahead of me at VP, and he knew me through wine circles, had seen me at wine tastings, and he had started this wine shed because a few of the wine places had sort of closed down, and RHBC, obviously brilliant beers, made amazing
Fantastic,
beers, but
fantastic.
wanted offerings for to diversify their clientele a little bit from not just the beer drinker. So they opened the wine shed, and the girl who
Oh,
started
there we go.
it.
Look at that. Gary's got some of the stuff on
Oh,
there.
there we go.
Wine and nibbles. There we are. Look at that.
So the girl who started it
Beautiful.
for them, really amazing wine knowledge, but came from Cape Town with a very Cape Townian background, and they parted ways. And he said, Nicole, I was thinking of you. Don't you want to come and help us here? Because I think what really was needed was have the PE palette in mind.
Yeah, okay.
Because the
What's a PE palette?
Well,
I'm scared to ask.
The thing about the PE palette is that you've got to also consider the PE pocket.
Yes. That's true.
And at a place which is just a very relaxed place to come, and the beers are very affordable, you can't be selling 600 Rand bottles of wine.
Yeah.
People aren't going to come back.
Yeah.
So the point was to try and find affordable wines that are still just not what you see
In
all the restaurants, all the shops. So to
boutique,
find,
but still well priced.
yes, so that's kind of been what I've tried to do. Find the wines that are interesting and affordable and in a nice little price range, and very important, good wine glasses.
Okay. Oh yes.
It's-
I was told Gary, because Gary brought these. He said you didn't
These
like
are
my
right.
ones.
These are all right. But yes,
Would they go for? Would you go for a thinner? Do you go for a thin lip?
yes, the thinnest lip possible.
Thinnest lip possible.
That's
It
won't
break
just,
when you.
yeah,
when
they
you
won't
touch
break
it.
when you look at it, you know. So very important to be able to taste wine out of a good glass.
Well, we're
I'm all for
tasting
that.
this. Tell us a little bit about this one. This
So
is
I brought one of the wines that we stock at the shed, and I brought this one specifically. It's called Love.
Love.
And if you look
closely.
yeah, where's the camera? There we
There's
go.
the cam, there
If you
you
look
go.
at it carefully, you'll see that it's actually a silhouette of
Yes.
the lady slipper.
See the lady slipper there that have got the little.
And this is a Sinsau Grenache Rosé made by a young Port Elizabethan winemaker who studied at Woodridge. So he is Mark Lapison, and he makes the wines. He's a winemaker at Holden Monts, and he makes the wines out of Holden Monts. But at the moment, he's just got the Chardonnay and
Where's
the
Holden Monts?
Holden Monts is in Franschhoek.
Oh, Franschhoek. So he
Yes.
takes the grapes from there and he makes
So
them.
from that area, yes.
He makes them, yeah.
And well, he makes the wine there,
Yeah, he brings
but
them.
it's a lovely story.
A
And
PE chap.
he's got the Port Elizabethness about it.
Yes. Yes.
And I love the.
It's beautiful.
It's lovely, beautiful
Very nice.
mouthfeel. Time on the lease. It's nice
What's
and
that?
dry.
Now? You've got to introduce
Okay.
me to this jargon. here.
Okay, so time on the lease.
Time on the
so
lease.
when the yeast cells.
Love is amazing, says Erin.
Oh, Erin.
Erin Jesse Long.
yes, Erin, our friend who's moved to PE from America, and she
welcome.
loves her. She's a real regular at Wine Shed and loves this wine particularly.
Welcome to y'all.
So yes, she's from Texas.
Oh, she's from Texas. We've got a drawl.
And so when the yeast cells have finished taking all the sugar from the sweet
Yes.
grape juice and converting it into alcohol, they die.
Oh.
And that's what we call the lease. And if you leave the wine on the lease for a while aging it, it gives it a softer mouthfeel. It's actually the little cells breaking up in your mouth. So it softens
like
the
that.
wine.
Thank you, little cells.
Yes. So you'll see this wine doesn't have that strong acidity. It's got a lovely mouthfeel. It's nice and dry, perfect for summer. And it's a Sinsau Grenache. So we're
Lighter
seeing
as well.
we're seeing a lot of the sort of Sinsau rosés at the moment. It's quite a fashionable thing. at the
Okay.
moment.
Okay, the
So-
Sinsau. The Sinsau is very, very fashionable today. And the little cells had to die in order
that
to...
died in order to make
in order to
alcohol
make it
for
nice,
us,
for
and
us.
and then yes.
Alcohol kills them.
Well, yes, they kill themselves by converting all the
sugar to alcohol.
alcohol.
But then they
Yes.
sit in it a while as well, and also just it's fantastic. Now I see Jeff Applewhite online as well. It's good to see his wine in hand. I'm joined with a glass of Kiermont Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, excellent,
What's the
Jeff.
Kiermont?
Lovely.
Second
Kiermont
step.
is a beautiful estate. Yes.
Whereabouts is that?
Kiermont, I think, is Stellenbosch.
Stellenbosch. There's a Stellenbosch in. Have you been down to Stellenbosch, Jeffrey Applewhite? We've tried to get Jeff on the show as well, but he's quite shy.
He's a good person for the show, I think.
He'll be fantastic for the show. Jeff, it's time. It's time. I think I've spoken to you during COVID already. I spoke to him and asked him to come on, but he's just quite a busy lad, I think.
Yes.
So
he
we'll
is,
get
but-
you on sometime, Jeff, please. And I know he's a wine for me as well. There's all part of the wine groups of wine people like
Yes, and
Sam Fenter.
Exactly, and there's a lovely actual wine culture in Port Elizabeth. There's a lot of various groups that do all sorts of tastings, and we're incredibly lucky as well that we've got a beautiful wine shop in Port Elizabeth, which sells, as in Preston's, that sells a wide range of wines.
Preston, Jonathan.
Yes, and I try to, in the wine shed, obviously sell some of the wines that. Some of them they've got too, but I try to sell some of the wines that they possibly don't have.
Oh, right, okay. Yes, yeah. No, well, I mean, I don't think it's a thing about competition. It's
No.
Often you buying your stock, you unless there's something different, like you say, you go out and you want to choose something really special. But I mean, I think bottle stores, you choose what's closest to you. Often,
Yes.
It's true.
But actually quite funny, before I got approached to help at Wine Shed, I was at strip tasting, and I was walking around with Les Pizzolati, and we kept going from place to place, and he kept introducing me. This is Nicole, she's a wine influencer. And I'm like, Les, I'm not a wine influencer. And then 3 weeks later, Matt asked me to help out at Wine Shed. I said, it must have been your lips to God's ears, because apparently not.
He says too shy. He says, too shy to shy. Hush. No, but you want it to be. We'll speak about you, Jeff. We'll get you eventually. We'll just get him drunk and then we'll get him.
Yes.
But so you become. It's just so happened that you've become this wine influencer as well. It's part of running the shed, I'm sure.
Well, it is part of the job now that I need
You're
to.
explaining all the time to people that are coming in. Oh, what about this? What about that?
And we do a lovely thing at the Wine Shed where, because we have our craft brewery, and you can do a beer tasting any time of our beers, we also have a wine tasting that you can do any time while we're open. And it's normally about 5 wines, and we change the estate every month.
Okay.
So in 3 years of doing this, we haven't repeated one wine farm once. So
That many wines, yeah.
yes, so and every month we feature a different winery so that people can get and experience different wines.
That there are so many different wines in this country. I mean, to think of there's certainly, it's surely eventually run out of space. I mean, out of acres for vineyards. Often get the vineyards get different wines get different from different vineyards and pull them together.
Yes.
They don't even have to have their own farms these days. They would just
I mean that was started by Neil Ellis. He was the first person to put his name on the wine rather than make it estate grapes. Yes.
Yeah.
And now a lot of farms are doing that, and even farms that do have estate grapes, some of them will bring wines in for certain types of wine, because what Neil believed was that there's not one property that will make every wine well.
Yes.
Every grape varietal. So you've got to go get them from.
Find where they are. I'm sure the popular ones get sort of taken up very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so the wine farms, they have good relationships with the vineyards that they get the grapes from. That's your first best, rather than just buying in whatever. You actually have some say in how that vineyard is managed.
You made me think of something now, because these vineyards. I always thought to myself, surely these vineyards are just sort of tax write-offs for very very wealthy people.
Well, you know the joke about how to become a millionaire. Be a billionaire and buy a wine farm.
Ask the Steinhoff guy. My word. It's, but maybe. I mean, I don't know. Do you think there's any truth to that rumor that this thing that it's just a tax write-off?
I don't think it's just a tax write-off. There are a lot of really passionate people in the industry. I think
they're profitable.
I think it's tough.
You think it's just a break-even thing?
I think it's quite a tough industry at the moment. There's a lot of competition, and there are a lot of wineries, and how to make your brand stand out and be something different. Yeah. And also, there are a lot of our wines that, unfortunately, we don't even see in this country. They go straight overseas. But then the thing that irritates me the worst, when you see the sports adverts for like sporting events and the cricket or something overseas, and then you see a South African wine being advertised. It's normally the worst on earth. No, they must think the wine is so bad.
got to compete with Stella Artois or whatever else.
But a lot of our really, really good wine goes across.
Goes across there. I mean, we've got our wine industry is old as well. It's not a young one.
No, it isn't. I mean, we've got. Well, at the moment, what's wonderful in our wine industry is we're becoming known for Chenin Blanc. So obviously our Pinotage, which is our South African grade, all that. But we really, in the last few years, have stepped it up when it comes to Chenin Blanc.
Chenins.
And we are known as some of the world's best Chenin Blanc.
I like Chenins, I do.
And
maybe
you're
that's
starting...
because we have got good Chenins here.
Yes, we do. And the thing that you're starting to see with Chenin Blanc as well is it used to be like, the cheap, fruity little Chenin, and now you're starting to see real effort being put into Chenin and some really sophisticated, top quality wines being made from Chenin Blanc.
Well, are you old enough to remember the old wines in this sort of scene where I seem to remember there only been a couple of wines around. It's like Keller Prince in those big 5-litre guns. You get a couple. But when did the wine industry actually start? Sort of getting into this into sort of better way, or marketing it in a better way.
Yeah, so we've always had a lot of Chenin because it was the staple for the brandy industry. So it was the most planted grape in South Africa, and so I think Ken Forrester was one of the first people to really put it on the map with his FMC, which is you probably know the story about that one.
What is
so he made
Ken
this.
Forrester.
So he made this wonderful Chenin wooded, beautiful, and they say the name stands for all sorts of wonderful things,
really?
but it actually is because this guy from England came down and apparently said, Ken, but where can I get more of that effing marvellous shit?
Effing marvellous shit. Oh my word! So it's effing marvellous, and so he started with with the Chenin story. But I mean, our wines have they always been good wines, and because I seem to remember there were a couple of brands. What was that thing they used to do? The Peter Bruegel stuff. Was that Keller Prince? I can't remember.
This is before my time.
Peter Bruegel, the artist. They used to do Dutch art from the Nederland.
Okay, yes.
They used to use all his art on the things, and they seemed to be like cheap wine. It was just like this, that, and that, and that was pretty much everybody was drinking Tussies, Keller Prince, and Autumn Harvest or whatever it was.
We've always had, think of Vinde Constance, which is that is an iconic wine from Klein Constantia. So that's one of the ones that are well known in the country.
The Constantia stuff.
Rust and Freda, always Kononkop, well-known wine. So that's an interesting one for me.
Kononkop.
I had such a bad experience there when I was a young wine, little young 20-something-year-old trying to get used to wine, and the woman was so rude to me that I always left a bad taste in my mouth.
It's one thing
and that's it's not necessarily. I've always said about wine.
That one lady that they fired the next day, Nicole.
No, apparently she wasn't just me. She's well known. And it was just something that treat the young people who are learning well, because they
you never know what kind of influencer they eventually going to become. First of all, what are your favourite Chenins?
Favorite Chenins? Oh, it's difficult. I mean, the FMC is lovely, but it is very expensive. So it's like over 800 rand. So I can't afford. I can't afford.
Don't put ice in that.
No, definitely don't put ice in that. Do you know what? Off the top of my head, the Montpellier Chenin is actually drinking beautifully at the moment. Stunning Chenin. Okay. Some of the Chenins from the Swartland area.
Okay. Well priced ones.
Some well-priced ones, and some. I mean, Swartland Winery has got their Bushvine Chenin is stunning, wooded. It's their top of the range. Okay. So, but their price point is always excellent. Yeah. Okay. So for a really quality wine, you can get a beautiful Chenin. Yeah. That Darling region and that have got all those bush vines, beautiful Chenins come from that
Darling
area.
Cellars. I remember Darling Cellars.
Darling Cellars, don't.
No, we don't diss them because they won our blind tasting.
Well, do you know what? Darling Cellars, it's a huge operation, and they make some very good wines in upper ranges. Yeah. Really, really awesome wines.
Do you do blind tastings as well?
Yeah, sometimes
I love
it's
it.
lots of fun.
It is,
It is a
it
lot of
is.
fun. Let's think. I mean, I must say the Stellenbosch Shannon I've been enjoying as well. It's just for a very affordable, everyday sort of Shannon. That one is great. And yeah,
So that's your go-to.
that's one of my easy go-to ones that I would know. I've always got at Wine Shed that.
Come home after a soul-sapping day at work.
Oh,
and then
But yeah, as I said, our darling cellars that that the top of the range single single vineyard old vine Shannon is beautiful.
Lovely. We had the blind tasting with the Reds actually, and I think that
always
Darling
interesting.
Sellers one was the Cab Sav, and then it was the old tunnel that came in second. I think it was the old tunnel at the time.
Some of
It was
these
like
wines
$40 or $50 a bottle. It's crazy with the blind tasting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I suppose when you're tasting a whole lot as well, depends if you're tasting and swallowing as well.
Yeah.
And if you're getting more pissed as you go along.
Yes. Also, yeah, De Morgan's on with some beautiful blends and that, and of course, Kleiner
De Morgan.
Zelsa have got their top of the range Shannon as well. Really, really lovely.
the
I
X
actually,
one.
so that's actually an interesting thing. That was part of my getting into the whole wine thing.
Yeah.
I did a wine blogging competition
Yeah.
that they ran through Macro many years ago when Facebook was still quite new. Through Kleiner Zelsa, and I came third in the country.
Ways. Well, your language is good, you know, you would have done it.
And you had to post all these things, and they actually sent you wine, and you had to host events and do all.
nice.
It was so much fun.
fantastic.
And that was an
I
excellent
wouldn't be
thing.
mind doing something like that. Gary,
It was-
we must organise to do something.
It was a lot of fun.
Great competition to
And
actually
that's
do.
why Kleiner Zelsa have always had a nice place in my heart. I love going there. It's one of the places that I think Kleiner Zelsa, and I think good things about them. And that's
We also did that once there as well. We went there, Gary. I think we went to Kleiner Zelsa. Isn't it the guy that was murdered?
oh yes. Oh, but I'm
Yes, well,
mistaken.
we won't go into that. you know,
Yeah.
but they make very nice wine.
They do.
Might be a bit dangerous for you to go in sometimes, but they make very nice wine. And then so your favourite wine producing region. What makes it special and what is it?
It's so difficult because, I mean, in my first few years, it was Robertson, and
Robertson?
and it was because
Oh my God.
Matthew and I honeymooned in Robertson,
So common,
and it
yes.
was such an amazing experience because back in the day, Robertson didn't have many fancy wineries, and that all of the tastings were free. Very few had restaurants, so we'd go to the shops and buy some stuff, and would ask the wine estate, "Do you mind if we have a picnic on your lawn?" And they would always like bring us wine, and it was such a lovely introduction to the winelands. And as I said, there's that sense of place that you have when you're treated well at a wine farm.
Isn't it amazing?
And you just have that wonderful experience. I mean, for my first few years, Bon Courage was one of my ultimates.
Bon Courage,
Because they
yeah.
made everything from the most affordable entry-level wine to some beautiful higher-end wines. And I love that about them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't it beautiful that you can go? It's almost like in PE you go to the beaches or you go to things, but there you can go to the wineries and you're always in this beautiful setting.
Absolutely.
And you can picnic or you can do what you like.
Yeah. And so also the last few years, Matthew and I have had a particular liking for Southern Cape. So the wines of the Gullis area. Not everyone does, but I quite like those rotundo, peppery Shirazes.
Wow.
And they've got such a
Spice.
very, very different flavour, the wines from those areas. And they've got, I'm not the biggest Sauvignon Blanc drinker, but they've got some beautiful Sauves from that area too. There's something special. There's a real sense of place of those wines.
Robertson.
So, yeah, and then I'm
Franschhoek.
quite...
I mean, it's beautiful.
Franschhoek is beautiful.
Yes.
It is beautiful. And one of my very favourite wine estates is there,
What is that?
Le Brie.
Le Brie. Oh,
Yeah,
I
Le
have
Brie.
Le
Now,
Brie.
Irene, I don't know. My husband won't mind me saying this because I've said it to a lot of people. I've got a bit of a girl crush on Irene. She takes anything and just makes it amazing. She makes such amazing wines.
Yeah.
Le Brie is...
Le Brie. So is that the winemaker, the Irene?
Irene, she's the winemaker at Le Brie. She's
Sorted out.
amazing, and what a passion for her wines, and everything she touches just turns to gold.
Do
Really,
you think
really
it's
lovely.
Part of it is the people that are doing it, obviously.
I think so.
It's a relationship as well, isn't it?
I think so. There's a
You get to know somebody at the wine, and I think that's what it's the beauty of those wine farms. You go to all the winemakers are so passionate about what they do.
Absolutely.
And they know how to talk to people.
Yes.
They're always there. And particularly when they know you're into wines. I'm
Yes.
sure you get the best treatment wherever you go.
well. I've been very lucky in the last few years. There's a tasting with Anthony from Fairview, which
Yes.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
So Matthew and I get there, and it had been arranged. I'd arranged with the local rep
Okay,
for them that
yes.
I'm going to Fairview and we're going to taste some wines.
Okay.
And he says, okay, I'm not going to start you with the stuff that you know. We're
Yeah.
going to leave that, but I've got a few wines that I want you to taste. And he then opened probably about 20 bottles. We spat 2 huge spittoons full.
Yes, like
And it was just one of the most amazing wine tastings I've ever had, because just the stories and talking about it, and these are from this area and that, and just what a lovely experience. And that was really
it's about
that
the
was
it is
special.
about the relationship like that. It certainly is. I mean, and whatever you do, your life is filled with relationships and people, and that's what's for me what's important in life. But when you buy, you've got a product as well, and you know that person is attached to that product,
Yes.
it makes it so much nicer to
It does.
consume. Whatever
And
it
that's
is.
why I bought the wine of a PE guy,
Excellent,
because
PE guy.
it's
Now Michael White is also here.
Yes,
Highlands
yes.
Road.
Highland Road, some beautiful wines there.
Highland Roads.
I love his Pinot Noir.
Yeah, it's lovely. Very nice. I have tasted his stuff over the years, but I can't remember now. Gary's the one who goes tasting it.
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
And so now, I mean, just as far as your life, when you got involved in pharmacy and that sort of thing. But let's go right back now. Go right back to Clarendon Park. Did you start at Clarendon Park?
No, I actually started at Herbert Hurd.
Herbert Hurd, like Gary.
Yes. For one whole year.
Yes.
And then my mom was a teacher at Harvest.
Yes,
So
yes.
we went there.
Lynn van Steenhoven,
Yes.
also at Harvest.
So she was the first ever
She's
teacher
still
at
there?
Harvest. No,
She retired now?
no. She's retired.
It's retired now.
Yes.
No more principal there.
No.
Okay.
So she was there, and so we went there, and then I went to Clarendon for a year and a half.
Okay. Nice.
And then back to Harvard.
And to Harvest, you got pushed back to
I
Harvest.
pushed back to Harvard, yeah, for the last of my junior schooling, and then
VP.
VP. Yes, VP.
VP
yes.
was the one, eh?
For
It was
high schooling.
great. It was
Yeah.
great. But
Oh, what a great school.
You got there after I did, I think. Unless you were still at 6 when I was matric. I think.
No, we're 10 years apart.
10 years, so no, it wasn't.
That's why we always see each other at the reunions.
Yes, I know. Yes, that's right. That's where it's. I was 88, and then you were
98, yes.
With Gino Perini.
Yes, Gino Perini. He
Gino
was,
Perini.
yeah.
Gino was the head boy.
He was, he was,
Deputy
yeah,
head
no,
boy.
was he head boy? Oh.
I can't remember. I think he might have been head boy with Alison.
Yeah, Alison, yes.
Alison Gooch
Glover, yes.
Glover, yeah. And so we always see the guys at the 10-year at the reunions, 10 years, 20 years. We're going to see 30
30 years, oh gosh.
it's crazy. And I mean, I'm still in touch with my friends from VP. I love that school.
I also had a really good experience at that school. A few of my friends were a bit older, so I'm still very much in touch with Candace.
Yes, Candace, of course. But that was through the theatre stuff as well. I mean, you must have been into drama, speech and drama.
Speech and drama.
You speak so well, always. She speaks very well, and it's like I think it must be part of the Dutch thing coming in there.
My dad is incredibly good at languages.
Yeah.
He's got the ear for music, and I think
Yeah.
it goes together. And my mom studied. She studied at Rhodes under Guy Butler.
Oh, Guy Butler.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was in Guy Butler's tut.
Oh, my
so when I was young, she was always very, Ma, can you brush my hair? She says, not hair, Nicole's hair. And then with all my speech and drama classes, I think I just took it a bit
Yes,
over, and
I know.
it's never left.
No, I love it, but it is speak properly.
I was going to say, I'm married for the surname.
Worthington, finally Worthington.
Shame, I know, I have a wonderful husband.
Does he also speak very, very, very well?
No, Matthew speaks well. You know
speaks-
Matthew. You've
I
known
mean,
Matthew
I speak
for
like
many
me.
years,
I
actually.
speak like a plank with this, I've got that East Cape twang, I think we all have. It's just we don't realise how much we do twang with that Eastern Cape flatness,
Well, Matthew often quotes his brother-in-law, who was in the first band that you've ever played in.
Oh, You mean-
Mark Ferreira.
Oh my word! Yes, of course.
So now we're taking you back.
Ferreira's linked through there. Now,
Yes, so Bev.
a heavy metal band called
Zister.
So through Bev, that makes sense
Yes.
because Mark's a crazy metalhead.
Yes.
So somebody tag Mark Ferreira and Mig Torrenti. Mig is also overseas. I chat to him every now and again as well. But Mark is salt of the earth.
Absolutely.
I found my wedding video in 1994, and there the two of them I saw Mark as well there.
Oh, lovely.
At the wedding, we were doing that metalhead thing. They used to put a hat on me and then dress me in underpants. That was me playing.
Because you're the same age as Matthew. You're both 1970s.
That's
so,
it. That's
yeah.
1970. It's a good year. It's a very good year. And so and then after VP, you're always involved in drama,
Yes.
and you loved. I know you did the Showtime stuff.
Yes,
which
I
was
did.
then playing for again.
Yes,
That's where
yes.
I met you again with Bob Everly.
Yes, absolutely.
And Bob, a legend as well.
Absolute.
Loved that. That Showtime was just his thing.
Oh, it was his absolute life, and it was a wonderful thing to be involved in.
It was, and also, you could say that it was old. It was we always used to do the old stuff and the old tunes in the 1950s and 30s and 40s stuff. Used to do
Lots of Cole Porter
and all that Max Bygraves and Vera Lynn and whatever else. But it certainly did create a culture of theatre.
Absolutely.
And anything like that does, like Linda Lou, you saw Linda Lou and Sharon.
yeah.
Sharon, rather, they do such a lot for theatre. I mean,
Do you know who my first drama teacher was?
who?
Isabel van der Linden.
Oh, no ways. Izzy van der Linden,
Yes.
Joe's mother.
I think Joe's the baby.
Yeah, Joe's
of all the many.
No, I think it's Dave. Dave's one lower than
really?
Joe. Yes,
It's hard
there's
to
one.
keep track, but-
Well, it might be the sisters as well. My word, I don't know how old they are. It's Marion or, but they're a Catholic family,
Yes.
Lots
No,
of-
absolutely.
yeah.
And she then
Robin, Izzy.
because I enjoyed drama so much at Herbert Hurd, my mom hauled her over and to teach drama at Harvest. So the Catholic drama teacher.
Somebody tag a van der Linden somewhere in here because
The Catholic drama teacher and the principal of, because my mom was the principal of the preschool, the principal of Harvest, the school, decided, okay, because my mom sold it so well that we need drama at the school, made it compulsory. Harvest was a compulsory subject at Harvest when I started there. And we had this charismatic school and this Catholic drama teacher.
Oh, wow. Excellent. But don't you find it's helped with the confidence?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know you're the kind of person who'll go in confidently into a room, that kind of thing, and it's the drama and it's the thing that.
when I changed career from Fresenius Kabi, where I worked for 13 years in a factory, sterile manufacturing, and went into the lecturing, my first class was over 100 students.
Jeez,
and you think, you walk into that room and there's a whole book that's over 100 looking at you and expecting, and so definitely the drama helped for that, and being able to get the point across, to make what is maybe some people might think sterile manufacturing is a dull subject, to make it exciting.
I guess you'd have to explain it because it sounds pretty dull when you say it. So you studied pharmacy. So you're actually a qualified pharmacist. You are a pharmacist.
I have my master's that I did later on in life.
Masters as well. So it's not just a normal pharmacist. It's a master of pharmacy. And then did you actually do? Did you actually have a pharmacy that you did at any stage? Or
No,
not?
so I did my internship at Sunridge Pharmacy, which was with Ron Wooden back in the day. And then I did my comm service at St. Albans Prison.
Oh, wow.
And then
What was that? Come on, kids. There must be stories. There's stories there, Gary.
Well, I always found it
Just
very...
to brush over that now. I was at St. Albans, the prison, handing out drugs.
I always found it very interesting that they had like a little steakhouse on the place, and you were served by the prisoners, and they would hand you your steak knife.
Really?
And the guy pumping petrol into your car was also a prisoner.
Holy
It was very interesting, but
No.
yes, a year there.
And or any like sort of breakouts or
Not while I was there. No,
danger.
No, there were no breakouts while I was there. The year before there had been.
Yeah. Okay. So a bit of trouble in the middle. And I mean, you didn't have to, did you deal directly with the sick inmates?
No, so the dispensary was outside of being inside the actual prison. I went into the medium prison once or twice, but a lot of the prisoners work there. So we were in the procurement area. The dispensary was in the procurement area. So yeah, I did have daily contact with prisoners.
As well. But the good prisoners, the ones that were just there
that were well behaved enough.
Fraud and stuff.
Yeah, just for fraud and stuff. Yes.
No violent, huge, beardy, tattooed guys.
No, I never went into Max. So
all right.
yeah.
And the experience you got there, good.
Yes, it was certainly. I mean, it was the year for the government, so got that out the way. I had to do
It
it.
has to be a year for the government.
Yes.
How many years was it to study, though?
It was 4 years undergrad, then a year internship, a year for the government.
Oh, so 6 years all in all.
All in all.
And then your master's another.
Well, I did my master's while I was working.
Oh,
I
so
did
you
it
did
part-time.
part-time.
So I went straight from there. It was that time in pharmacy where things were really difficult because the laws had been changed about pharmacy ownership.
Yes.
So the clinics were opening up. So and they just changed the pricing regulations to the single exit price. So pharmacy was going through a real difficult moment. There weren't a lot of jobs for retail pharmacists.
Yes, because they all have to, if they're downing the prices, they can't
Yeah.
put their markups on, they can't survive.
Exactly. So a job came open for a quality assurance pharmacist at Fresenius, and Matthew, who I married Matthew, and he's also a pharmacist.
He get you the job. But
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I got the job with the competition.
Oh, really?
Yes. So Fresenius are right next door to Aspen, but they actually are competitors in essentially.
Okay.
And that was the funniest thing because I used to be able to visit him because I met Matthew in my 4th year varsity, and I used to go and visit Aspen and whatever. And then as soon as I got the job at Fresenius, he wouldn't let me set foot on Aspen for the next 13 years.
Oh, my
When
word.
we were right next door.
We're allowed to go across competition.
So it was interesting.
And tell me what did the job entail, and what is that? What did you say?
Pharmacist in industry. I was the release pharmacist.
It's
Fresenius Kabi, yeah. So I was the release pharmacist. So I used to go through the batch manufacturing records looking for things that had gone wrong.
Okay.
And I then had to do the sign-off to say this product is all right for human use.
Okay, human consumption.
Yes. So
that's quite an important job, you know.
it is. I can't believe they let me do it straight off the bat.
I'm sure there are lots of things in place.
But I then worked many years at Fresenius and worked in validation, worked in various jobs in quality assurance, worked in production.
I remember doing a gig for you guys.
Yes,
in
yes.
a tent there.
And what's interesting about working in industry, people think it's so boring,
Yeah.
but to me it's actually the most interesting area in pharmaceutics because you actually have to, the problem-solving people, skills that you have to have
Yes.
to be a pharmacist in industry are huge because you're there as I always tell my students, as an industrial pharmacist, you are the voice of the patient on the factory floor. So you've got to look out for the patient. You've got to be the one who goes, no.
That's not going to work.
And no, this isn't safe. This batch can't go to the market. No, we shouldn't do it this way. We need to do it that way.
And the production manager go, look, I've just spent 16 million on this.
I mean, when you make a decision to dump a 3 million rand batch, it's a big decision.
Well, I'm sure, Gary's putting on questions here for us because he's asking how many people you've killed as a result of your mistakes that you've made.
I hope none. There are a lot of checks and balances in pharmaceutical manufacturing, more than you would realize, and I think that's why people go, oh, well, wow, pharmaceuticals so expensive. It's because there are so many checks and balances that it makes them quite expensive. And sterile products are injected directly into the bloodstream.
Is that what it was? So you were into doing the sterile stuff?
Sterols, yeah. Sterols is my
So
area.
is that what you were calling the sterile? Because when I use sterile, I mean maybe
So
you're
it's
keeping
injectable.
the factory clean or something.
No, so
Just
sterile.
a bit of
So we
Dettol.
only made injectable products at Fresenius.
Injectables.
Yes. So your drip bags.
Okay.
And we made like fentanyl and
really?
morphine and pethidine. So also being a pharmacist there, you had to keep all that under lock and key because the very hectic. Fentanyl is amazing. That drug, always I tell my students, into a batch of 600 liters, you'd put enough raw material that would fill half a specimen jar, and it makes something more powerful than morphine. It's that had to be dispensed under certain conditions because if you breathe it in, obviously obviously it's dangerous.
Oh, and breathing it in. Is
Oh, because I mean, you can die of an opioid overdose if you breathe it in.
Yeah, geez, like, so it's like, you know, this stuff. I mean, you know, I was listening to this Iliaden stuff that you use.
Yeah,
for your nose.
yeah.
What do they call it?
Oxymetazoline, yeah.
Which is the one that you guys would have made for that?
Well, no, we only made injectable, so yeah.
Okay, because I mean that stuff's like, it seems like it must be cocaine in that stuff.
Well, similar mechanism of action, yeah. Vasoconstriction there.
It's like, oh, you got like a blocked nose, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's incredible. You know, I always said, we were talking before, I always imagined you sitting in this in your desk with a table of elements, and you know, let's put what's it? This is nitrogen with a bit of, you know, whatever.
I can tell you one funny
Chlorine.
story. So, I was going through batch documents, obviously,
Yes.
for a lot of my job in the early days, and you know what happens when your fingers get like you've been paging too much, they can't turn the page. So I licked my finger, and there must have been just one grain of raw material on that. And it ended up on my tongue, and I looked at the batch book, and it was lignocaine, which is a local anesthetic. Completely numb. From that day, I made sure I got one of those little the thimbles, the rubber thimbles to turn the page. It's just one. Got on the...
Oh my God. You could kill yourself. Watch out. Jeez, imagine.
But I was like, la.
You just paging, you think like, hang on, hang on a minute, something's going on.
Yeah. But those were in the early days. They then changed the labels that they then stuck to the batch book were double backed, and then that you could peel it off and stick, so you didn't have any of the salts in the batch book.
Gary, what's it? He says some of the things that you'd be surprised to know about the pharmacy industry. Can you tell us some? We would be surprised. You're not surprised because you know it very well. Something that people would be surprised to hear.
I think that a lot of people would be surprised at the level of regulation is extremely high.
So is it government regulation?
Yeah, government and
self-regulation?
it's good manufacturing practices and. Yeah, so it is a highly regulated industry. We've got SAPRA in South Africa, but also how you get a lot of auditing from companies.
I would imagine other countries.
Other countries if you're exporting. Yeah.
Exporting,
and we do export quite a bit in this country.
Do you export a lot of those drugs? That fentanyl is sending straight to America.
No, that was local market actually.
Straight to your body. Do you ever do that?
We did.
There must be security there.
We did have a raw material that we made for suspension. It was a white powder, and it was manufactured. The raw material was manufactured in Mexico, and the one day customs decided to open up. But it was a sterile raw material, so it was rendered completely non-sterile, and we couldn't use any of it. It was expensive too, and it was like, oh my word.
Yeah, you need
not going to mention. So customs got stuck all this white powder from Mexico. so that's one of the things that very few of the raw materials are actually made in South Africa. So most of the raw materials are imported from overseas. So that's something that might surprise people. Do we have
any that we actually make here as well?
There are a few. Fine Chemicals is in Cape Town, and they're owned by Aspen, and they make some of the raw materials.
There's a new Aspen thing that's gone up here in North End, I saw it.
Well, Aspen just keep building, and
I know, huge
they just
places,
keep building. And mainly sterile facilities. They've now got, when I started at Fresenius, they didn't have any sterile facilities. They now have 3.
Wow.
At that site.
And that's so sterile. You're talking about injectables.
Injectables, yeah. So that's where a lot is happening. Biological products is a lot is happening in that sphere at the moment. It's very interesting.
Okay, so and is PE becoming because of this becoming sort of a hub for this sort of stuff, or not?
Well, it's Aspen's biggest manufacturing facility. So, they have all over. They've got facilities all over South Africa and the world, but the Port Elizabeth one is their biggest. So it's really a good opportunity.
It's fantastic. It's like another industry that we've got here. It's great. We love that.
It is.
And then okay, so from the now working the wine shed and
And at the university, yes.
and at the university now lecturing.
So side hustle is wine shed. It's a wonderful opportunity. So
Okay, how much truth is there in the common assertion that pharmaceutical industry is more interested in making money than saving lives? Come on, Nicole.
Okay, let's go there.
Give us the big pharma speech. Give me a glass.
oh
of wine
yes,
while you're there
let's
as well.
top of the wine before we go
Before we
there.
attack that.
Before we go
The
there.
big pharma. You know, because big pharma, anybody is interested in a bit of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
We'll try and debunk some of them here today. Well, maybe we won't. We'll confirm some of them.
So, like an industry, there needs to be money made, right?
Absolutely.
It needs to be profitable.
Yeah.
One of the biggest issues, and this is my opinion,
Yeah. Yes.
my personal
yes.
opinion. One of the biggest issues is that as soon as you make something that is like really necessary, let's take the antiretrovirals.
Okay, antiretrovirals.
Let's take antiretrovirals.
Yeah, people are going to die. if they don't.
People, and they were dying.
Yeah.
I did my 4th year pharmacy, and we did hospital rotations 1 or 2 years before they started rolling out antiretrovirals in the state. I saw how the people were just, because we had to select a case every week that we then that we studied as part of our and how many of our cases were just dying like flies. It was horrific, and so it was a big problem. But then what happens as soon as you are now this company that the cost to bring those products to market is huge. Now you develop this drug that, yes, it's going to save many lives, but you kind of now expected to give it away for free. And you're not going to recoup those costs.
No.
So yes, do the pharmaceutical industry then focus more on drugs that they can make money back from? Ozempic? Great, because they know that's...
What's that?
It's it's a diabetes drug, actually.
It's like
It's a diabetes drug, but they found that it's amazing with weight loss.
Oh, right.
So
Okay.
they are making killing with that because people are going to want to buy it.
Of course.
But are we investing in new antibiotics? No, because as soon as you do, you're going to have to give it to the third world country, something for malaria. It's not a first world problem. So, but that's where the governments need to step in as far as I'm concerned. They need to be the ones partnering with the pharmaceutical industry to make sure that those products still get made. Because why is a pharmaceutical company going to do all the research into something that is then going to not make them any money? They still need to make the money to be viable.
Yeah, because otherwise it's go out of business.
Exactly. And then where do we sit? So people, if they're totally anti-big pharma, I say fine. If you think the industry is so corrupt, don't use pharmaceuticals. And next time you have an operation, have a slick of brandy and don't take that aesthetic. Next time you need to get on a plane and you've got a runny tummy.
Sorry, buddy. You're going to be in the toilet. And how much is the truth in the assertion that pharmaceutical studies are often biased towards people who pay for them?
So it is interesting.
The first world countries.
So now you're asking a very interesting question, and so if you want to do a pharmaceutical study, the ethics involved is huge. And what used to be thought of as, a pharmaceutical study is this or that, is very different. In fact, I mean, that's someone that you could have a very interesting chat with Dr. Milan, who runs Phoenix Pharma. They're a local clinical trial company. And he is such a fascinating person. So he's done lectures for my master's students and how interesting it is how clinical trials are run these days. So it's not just this, double blind, this and that. It's
take a one control group, another control group.
So
give them a
nowadays it's
placebo,
actually
give
thought
them
of unethical with certain drugs to put them on a placebo if there is a standard of care. So what you're actually doing is you do superiority or comparability studies, that you have one arm on what is the standard care and then the other arm on the novel drug, on the IP. So it's quite interesting. And then also,
what's the IP?
Intellectual property.
Right.
The new drug that's being tested. yes, one could design a clinical trial that will absolutely show your drug in the best light. But then things like if it's a class of drugs and like FDA go, but you didn't study that in your clinical trial, they will make you, before they register that drug, they are going to ask their pharmaceutical company, no, we know this is a side effect for this class of drugs. You need to add something in your clinical trial that specifically looks at that. So it is regulated.
For side effects, I mean, obviously that's what you're looking for.
Well, either side effects or that it... Yes, mainly. So if we know that this is a certain side effect and the trial they did show didn't even look for that side effect, they're going to actually make you do a clinical trial that looks for it. So yeah, that's one of those.
I just see some comments here while I'm going. I see Keith Faree. How's it, Kif? And he says 39 years ago I used to trade Reactivan.
Yes.
Trade the spelling for a cheeseburger to be able to...
Yeah, it helped with concentration. And that was a big thing when I was studying.
A week. Reactivan.
Yes, it was.
Reactivan was like a...
It helped with concentration.
It's like cocaine
the students, no, it wasn't. The students used to all use it to study.
Like Bioplus.
No, it was actually a schedule.
A scheduled drug. Oh, really, Keith? Had a little go at that, did you? How's it affecting you now? Is there any nervous twitches or anything? But to keep you going, an 18-hour day. Ooh, I'd worry. I worry about taking anything into my system. I'm a bit of like I mean, antibiotics have helped me many times.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us would be dead if it weren't for modern medicine. I mean,
for sure. Yeah, you're right.
I probably would have died of bronchitis as a child. And many of us would have.
Yeah. It does these. I mean, and like you say, the cost of these things has to be paid somewhere.
If you want to blame Big Pharma for anything, blame them for overpopulation.
Yeah, they are creative. They are.
Because we're just not dying.
Okay. But anything else that you would say that you really love and you really what interests you? What is your...
So apart from the wine and I think our pharmacy, I love traveling.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh,
and Matthew and I make a real point to travel locally. Do as much local travels.
Favorite spots?
Matthew's in love with the Karoo. Absolutely in love with the Karoo. I mean, he's got a high pressure job, so he loves to go out and just have that. Yeah. He's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. Yes. So we go an introvert in the Karoo.
No, Matthew doesn't say a lot. He's just there. You know, he's just keeping the keel.
So we go and take some wine and introvert in the Karoo, and there's such beautiful places nearby. We went just a few weekends to a little spot outside Grahamstown and just spent a weekend doing absolutely nothing near the Fish River. We love going to the winelands as well, a little bit of a further trip. And
with Gordon and Rose at the
yes,
strip
all
tastings.
the strip tastings and that. Yes, and we did so much wine travel this year because it was the Kenton tasting. We did the Prince Albert one as well. We did the Carlstorp one. Tasting. Always fun. Always.
We're going to be entertaining there. I think.
Yeah, lovely.
Are we, Gary? I think we are. I think we might be entertaining there at the Kenton wine tasting. Yes, I think we might be doing that. So you travel a lot for that as well.
Yeah, so all the wine tastings and that we go as I'm not promoting wine at most of them. I'm going as a participant.
A participant to try and get widen your wine knowledge.
Yes, and it's always just a lot of fun and great people. In fact, at the last strip tasting, we ended up. I love New Bethesda. Matthew and I have an absolute love for New Bethesda, and we stayed in a house with a few of our friends, and one of the wine farms was on our stoep ridgeback. Perfect. So we were literally leaning out the window. It was so much fun.
Great, but it's also about relations, about your friends, like spending a bit of time together. Yeah. And you and Matt, like now you must be the outgoing one. Matt's the quiet one.
Oh, I mean, Matt's not necessarily quiet, but he sometimes just needs that. He needs that time to. I mean, because introverts they need time away to recharge. Extroverts need people to recharge. Yes. So we allow each other.
And you're going to go and meet everybody in the whole room. I know you. Hello.
Matthew calls it butterflying.
The bee goes from flower to flower to flower to flower. That's what they say. Oh my word! And I mean, so from this whole thing, I mean, other than traveling, anything else that you into? You're never sporty.
Oh, I love my. I used to do a bit of trail running, but I'm not.
Trail running.
I'm not doing it anymore. And
You've built for trail running.
yeah, I love my exercise. I exercise with Sharon Jessup, who's
Sharon Jessup.
well
yes.
known to.
She does the boot camp.
Yes, and she's the running queen.
Yes, she does.
So
mega marathons.
and all the things. So
She had 21. I know she did like 1,000 flipping 21s, 21k.
she
things
a
in a-
lot. She
in a
did a
row.
lot, and she's
For the
all the
rhinos.
running for rhinos and that.
Running for rhinos, she's-
I've known Sharon for many
And
years.
of course, I MC a lot of these races.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
when we do the races, there's always Sharon's up near the
Yes.
front. Hey, Sharon Jessup.
So I've been with Sharon for many years now, probably more than 10 years that I've been exercising with
Yeah.
her, and definitely.
Yeah. I've got a big question
Okay.
here. This.
Read it carefully.
Yes, I'm going to read it carefully.
Okay.
Like when we go. So, in America, where drug prices are amongst the highest in the world, pharmaceutical companies are the biggest contributors to funding politicians who make decisions relating to the industry and media advertising, which informs public opinion. What are your feelings about that? Politicians and are there any similar experiences here? Like,
In South Africa, we don't have much of a. We've got some multinational companies here, but they're not really. Most of our drug manufacturing here is generic manufacturing.
okay.
So the margins are not the same. And
There's more an ethical thing involved in.
yeah, and I know that companies like Aspen, I can't speak for Aspen, I've never worked there, but I know they do work with government to try and find solutions to problems
Yeah.
more than anything else. It's not funding one party.
Yeah. Because I mean, obviously, funding political parties. I wonder. I think they've opened that up now. They have to declare what's coming from where now, as far as I know. But it's interesting because in America, I'm sure it's different.
Yes, and I see what Gary's typing.
And how much have they paid you to be quiet now?
You know what? I know, as being a pharmaceutical lecturer, I know from I'm a member of the Pharmaceutical Society of South Africa. I'm on the local committee. That most pharmacists actually want to help people.
Yeah. Are they like teachers where
Yes,
it's a vocation?
it is. It's most pharmacists actually are there for the people. That's what they want to do. They want to help people.
Yeah.
They want to be that person. And I mean, pharmacists get a bad rap some of the time. I mean, and they're actually really your first point of contact so many times, and giving their advice basically for free.
Yeah.
And being the first person that a lot of people call.
Yeah.
Before the doctor.
You're right.
So most pharmacists actually are genuinely good at heart.
Yeah. So a pharmacy degree, you go into the medicine more than let's say a GP or
We do a lot more pharmacology than so in pharmacy we've got 4 pillars: pharmaceutical chemistry, which is the molecules.
Yes. Okay.
Pharmaceutics, which is how to manufacture. That's what I lecture.
Wow.
The manufacturing side.
What mix them together?
Know how to formulate, and then also what the controls are in a large scale manufacturing and small scale manufacturing.
Okay.
Then
Small scale manufacturing. You make me think of
Yeah,
Breaking
little-
Bad.
No, but it's the little suspensions, and when you've
Yes.
got to mix a cream in the pharmacy and that sort of thing for bespoke for a patient, we can
Yeah.
still get scripts like that. Then pharmacology is how the drug compound acts on the body. So how it elicits its effect,
How your body
mechanisms of action, as we call them.
okay.
And then pharmacy practice, which is how to be a pharmacist, how to behave, the legal stuff, how to run a business, a bit of accounting, some, communication skills.
Well, I suppose not talking about big pharma would be included in that then. I
Yeah.
guess. What to talk about and what not to talk about. No, but it's just interesting to say that, I mean, the pharmacy would go into that medical side, into that medicine side, as opposed to, I suppose the treatment side on the GPs and the medical doctor would be slightly different. And they would have to know a bit of both.
Yeah, so that's why the pharmacist is supposed to be there as a resource for the doctor.
Yeah.
I don't know what to prescribe here.
Yeah. What do you
Help
think?
me. And that in a proper working team, that is what you should be doing.
Yeah. So
That
different
conversation.
specializations as you go along.
Philip Loebscher checking up on you.
Philip Loebscher, there's checking us. He's checking up on us. We're talking about medicine, Philip Loebscher. He's over in America now.
Yes, I know.
And he got into the drug industry in a different way, and he's now playing music all the time. you know.
Oh, right.
I see he's got a guitar in his hand. What guitar is that now? That Philip, put that up there again, Gary. Let's have a quick quiz. I just saw a quick picture of that guitar coming up there. It looks like a Strat. There we go, and he's got his hat
Awesome.
on, which is.
Lovely.
It should be a telly if you've got a bit of telecaster if you've got a hat on, Philip.
Oh, nice to see you, Philip.
Yeah, the band I think it was called Cassette. I think the band, I remember that. What things? Okay, back to the
Let's
wine.
back to
tasting.
wine, yes. Way
What
more
things-
fun.
What things annoy you most about wine tastings?
When you're hosting one.
When you're hosting wine tastings.
The absolute pet peeve of mine when I'm hosting a wine tasting is people arriving late.
Oh, ooh, yeah, I better
Simply
not.
because now you've poured the wines and now they come late and they want to catch up, and then
Yes.
you're trying to pour the next one. Oh, it just makes us go.
Come on, man.
People just be on time.
Be on time.
That is my absolute worst. I don't mind people getting a little bit tiddly. I don't mind them being a bit like, oh, can I have a bit more? But
Yeah.
the coming late.
Not there. Are you also on the menu? No, that's
Well,
tough.
when you work when you work at the wine shows, so I've poured at a few wine shows, then it's like, do you have any sweet wine?
You got any sweet wine? Sweet.
But hey, there's nothing wrong with sweet wine.
Yeah. Do you like a bit of dessert wine?
I love a bit of
you
dessert
said,
wine.
You said you had a port that we
Yes,
could mix
yes,
as
we
well.
must- oh, let's
tell
do
me about
that.
because there's like a port, and then you mix it with a
Tonic.
With a
So
tonic.
port and tonic is very popular in Portugal, actually,
Okay.
of course,
Portugal,
yes.
Portugal.
And I mean, so port is a fortified wine, so you often think about it as winter, heavy, to warm you up. But Portugal's a very hot place in summer, Mediterranean.
Absolutely.
So they've come up with this port and tonic, and I thought I'd bring along because you're sponsored
Yes.
by Fitch and
Fitch and
Leeds.
Leeds, I know.
So,
So
I
we
brought.
can do it. Or Gary's going to have to pour it for us eventually. But
It's in the fridge.
It's in the fridge. We got
In the
we
door.
got the port, and then we're going to mix it with some tonic. Yes.
And that we could
Gary's
put
gonna
ice in.
Yes, and we put ice in that as well. We don't put ice in wine. Why don't we put ice in wine?
Listen, there's no rule that you can't put ice in
Yes,
wine.
it doesn't
If you
have to
want to
be
put ice in wine, put ice in wine. If that's what you enjoy, I just don't like to because it waters it down.
Yes.
And also depending, and if you are going to put ice in wine, please try and make sure you use purified water, because otherwise your wine, so if you're using tap water to make the ice, your wine is going to taste like chlorine. So either like a mineral water or a purified water. Otherwise you're going to destroy that
Destroy the
beautiful
wine.
wine that the winemakers spend so much time.
I mean, the
and effort
winemaker
on.
did make a certain amount at a certain concentration. So if you're watering it down, then you are
Yeah.
sort of buggering up.
But I'm never going to tell somoone don't put ice in your wine if that's what you enjoy. Because do you know what? It's more about
You
enjoyment.
told me not to put wine ice in my wine.
No, I will never, unless it's a
Yeah.
slightly sweet wine.
Okay.
Then
Then it's okay. That's not really. And you want to just water it down to get rid of the sweetness.
so
You don't like the sweet. I mean, the sweet wine tends to be that one that is that the one.
That's it, pink
The
port.
crans.
Anything
The
you want to
pink-
go with it?
so tonic
tonics.
water
Yeah,
and
give
some ice.
two glasses and.
Straight tonic water.
Tonic
Yeah,
water, yes.
well, bring the tonics as well.
Yeah.
Normal tonic. There we go. De Kraan. So tell me about that. Carletstorp. Oh, I love
Well,
tonic.
of course, Carletstorp.
love
You've
Carletstorp.
got to. And I mean,
I've been there. It's beautiful.
yeah, I love, and they do the Carletstorp Express Festival. I went for the first time this year, and it was so much fun.
Did you go to the
Wonderfully.
Circle of Stone?
Of course, yes. And then Mike Neeb from Axe Hill, he's one of my favorite wine estates there. He does such interesting things.
Mike
He's always, Mike Neeb.
McNeeb.
And then, of course, Peter Bailey as well, so De
Okay.
Krans.
Oh, please tag these people.
Yeah, no,
Tag them.
amazing. Mike is just, in such a very difficult climate, how he makes such amazing wines.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah,
that climate there is hectic.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not prime winemaking area. So
Well, it's very, very
But
dry.
they've got the vines there. I mean,
They need some ice. Okay.
yeah, ice as well. There we go.
So for those who don't like things that are too sweet, either ice it a bit more, or you can put a bit of soda water in with it as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the pea is quite sweet.
Okay, yes.
But with the tea, and a little slice of lemon, but port and tonic, absolutely hot summer's day, great, refreshing. In fact, they do a premixed port and tonic at the Cross.
Oh, the premix as well. Did you make a slush puppy out of it? I'm sure
You could.
Oh, yeah, it could be
Oh,
good.
what I've discovered, okay, I'm punting, this is not wine. This is not wine, Gino.
Yes, I know, that's fine.
I take a Jane Doe and then
Yeah.
I stick it in the freezer
Beautiful.
until it becomes slushy, and then I pour it in a glass with a bit of tequila.
What a pleasure.
So I make like a
pleasure.
frozen margarita.
Yeah, she's pouring it out now. Okay, so a little bit
So
of...
you just need
You know, a third.
a third to a quarter, depending on how sweet you want
Okay.
it. And then our Fitch and Leeds
Fitch
tonic.
and leads turn into
Thank you,
that,
Justin.
yes. Thanks, Justin, for the Fitch and leads. There we go. And in it goes. So I quite like this idea because I mean I've been a gin and tonic guy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Honestly,
And the tonic keeps.
Look
Is
at
it
that, look
is
at
it the
that.
tonic that keeps away the mosquitoes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it's
here we go.
quinine is
Lovely.
good for
Quinine.
for malaria. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that is very good.
A little bit
Man,
of
that is fantastic.
a little bit of P&T, an idea for people who want to do something
Yeah, a little bit
at
different.
home. Muscadel with soda water and
Muscadel.
lemon as well. Beautiful,
Lovely.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that's good, eh? So a bit of Portland, I never thought of that, you know. And it's not going to be strong either, so
Yes,
it's a nice
well, exactly.
summer drink, you know,
You're
in the
watering it down
afternoon.
so you can quaff it at the pool.
At the pool afternoon, and it's not going to make you slur your words until at least 6 o'clock at night. There we go. Tell us about your most drunken audience that you've ever had as a host. There must be some stories from some wine tastings there.
I'm quite lucky. My people are usually quite good, but probably the worst is when I've helped pour at. It was the Tops Wine Show back in the day.
Oh, the wine show.
I helped pour at the Tops Wine Show.
Gee whiz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the evening, they had these big spittoons there for people to start. Towards the end of the evening, someone knocked over a spittoon.
Oh no, this is the pits. Oh,
And just like, wine everywhere.
I see your dad's online here saying he's loving this interesting guest today. Really enjoying her. I'm enjoying it too, Art. and Jeff says we must use Woolie's eyes.
Woolie's eyes. There we go, Woolie's eyes.
There we go.
I love it.
It's helping with Nicole's accent. It's fine. It's good. It helps as well. No, this is fantastic. And it is a nice light. I'm going to use this. I'm going to do this. Fantastic.
Please
man.
do, because also it helps our port
Yeah.
suppliers in summer.
Absolutely. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to do the getting to know. We play a bit of Julie Andrews and then we ask
Okay.
you some getting to
Getting to
know
know
questions.
you, get to know all about you.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do it. Gar. There it
Get
is.
to know you, getting to know all about you.
This is just for you, for the theatre.
Love it.
I love that. I mean, Julie Andrews, what a pleasure. Okay, something, and I know that you are pretty spontaneous. Something particularly spontaneous or irresponsible that you've ever done.
Oh, I can't tell the one that comes to mind.
Or tell us the second best one. Then.
The
Second best one.
the most spontaneous thing I've ever done. No, I can only think
I
of
don't
the
think
first
it
one.
must be sexual.
What is responsible?
Irresponsible.
Irresponsible. Oof.
Or you can tell us the biggest risk that you've ever taken.
Well, for me, one of the biggest risks I ever took was leaving Fresenius, and I didn't have the job at the varsity when I left. So
Did you have a plan in mind?
I knew I needed to do something, and Matthew had said to me, "You need to do something."
Were you tired of the job? Was
But
like,
I
okay,
was
that's getting too much?
I was ready for something else.
Okay.
And so, yeah, quitting my job there and how it fell into place so quickly was amazing. So
But you
that
gotta
was probably the
create
biggest.
these opportunities.
And it is about creating opportunities.
If you're available, then you can do it.
Exactly.
If you're not available, the chances are very, very slim. And when you if you can't go to the varsity and say, look, or apply for a post there if you've already got a job, and then they're thinking, oh, she's already there. If you're free, you're in.
Yeah. So that was for me. It was a huge risk because as spontaneous as I seem, I do like that security.
Yes. Was Matt not prepared to fund your lavish lifestyle? They said in the paper today about the Jeffreys Bay woman who fooled everybody with the Jolly Dolphin story today. I think there was a Jolly Dolphin that's been doing a pyramid scheme or something.
Oh,
and she said she used the funds in the paper. They said to fund her lavish lifestyle.
Oh dear.
I said, oh my God, okay. So he wasn't prepared to do that, and you were ready to go.
Yeah. So, but also he knew I need something. I need something to keep me ticking.
Okay. Yeah, and I think you are. You need something. You're never going to retire. I can't see a retired Nicole.
Well, I hope that, when I retire from my professional job, I at least get to do something with wine.
Well, what's Art doing at the moment? Is he doing anything?
No, Art is retired and being a great granddad. Well, not a great granddad, an amazing granddad.
Oh, an amazing granddad,
Yes.
not just a great one.
No.
An amazing granddad. I think he would be. He would be very interesting.
Yes.
He's always got another plan in his head. Got to properly go like that. I always ask people about if they've got ADD or if they're sort of a focused kind of person. Do you think there are elements of this in you?
I procrastinate a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky in that there's lots that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to be quite mid-brain. So I had the science and I had the creative, which has allowed me to go all over the place. But when I need to focus, it's ridiculous.
Really?
But then I've got to get in the zone. I mean, when I was writing up my masters, I would sometimes sit for days over weekends and just for hours and hours and just get in there.
That's a natural skill to have. I mean, I'm not that focused guy. I'm all over.
My parents, I think I drove my mom nuts when I was studying and that because I would say, okay, no, I'm going to focus on this, but now I'm done. I'm not going to stay up late at night. I'm not going to wake up early in the morning. It was just not my scene.
You find as you've got older that you've got more focused in your life, you don't worry about what other people think anymore.
Oh, well, that's the wonderful thing about getting older, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you actually don't give a toss.
Do you think you were anxious in your younger days? I knew you when you were young.
I don't know if I was a particularly anxious person, but I did. Being in the drama community is quite hectic because part of being an actress is self-promotion, and you've got to stand out.
Yes.
So you've got to kind of like this larger than life, and it's all about that. And to be honest, I'm actually quite glad that I didn't go that way with my career.
Yeah. Okay. So you didn't go in that drama way. You did prefer that. You can still do it though. That's
Exactly.
The whole thing is you've still got this outlet if you need to.
Exactly.
But your wine gives you the outlet.
Oh,
the
that's
tastings.
precisely. Though I do feel like I need to get onto stage again.
Ah.
It's been too long.
Well, maybe you better get out there. How's your singing voice?
Oh no, it's out of practice. It's out of practice.
Okay. Something that people would be surprised to learn about you.
Well, I think a lot of people are surprised that I'm a pharmacist.
Yes, I know.
There's the first one.
My God,
like at my 10-year reunion, people are like, what?
I know, you really thought it would have surely been in drama. I mean, Matt's probably online. I don't know if he's going to be watching this tomorrow. You can put it in the comments. Tell us what people will be surprised to know about Nicole.
Actually, good one, Matthew.
I mean, I know that you used to travel with us all over the place with Eminent Child. We used to travel all over the bloody country. And Nicole was there. You shared the back of that van.
Oh, yeah.
So many times we had gear in the back, and then somebody had to be in the back. And then 3 up front,
yes.
And then 1 person in the back. We used to rotate.
And I remember still that splashy fen one when Phil doesn't come with us.
Oh, well.
And so Michael wasn't allowed to drive the van. Oh, for those who don't know what you're talking about,
Yes, Michael, yes.
I dated the
Yes, the bass
bassist
player,
for Evelyn Child.
Evelyn
So another reason I know Gino.
Yes, yeah.
And so we got the graveyard shift, and we just talked the biggest load of rubbish throughout the night. I'll never forget that.
No, we did. And we try and keep awake. That was the thing when we were traveling like that. And okay, so the most physically painful thing you've ever experienced?
Yeah. Okay, so I did Dryland Traverse a number of years ago. It's a trail run, 3-day trail run. And on day
crikey.
1, I got horrific blisters. And they did the thing where they inject the methylate into your blisters.
Oh!
The woman says to me, it stings like 1,000 bees, but then it's going to be okay. But they literally have to hold your leg down.
Oh my God.
So
Injection into a blister. It's
Into the
taking the
blister.
sore part and then there's like a sticking needle in there as well. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was-
that's fine. Methylate. What is that? Like mercurochrome?
yes,
It is.
it's the similar. It's not exactly mercurochrome. It's related.
Well, I mean, mercurochrome. I remember putting that on.
Yeah.
Your mother, you always used to put that.
Yes.
Your whole thing was red.
Yes, we were covered in mercury and we survived.
What the hell? Hey? No. What's that? I mean, what is mercury goes straight into your bloodstream, doesn't it? It's poisonous. Does it ever get out of your bloodstream?
It takes a while.
Takes a while. Holy crap. Okay. The most uncomfortable place you've ever slept. I think I might know that.
The back of the Eminent Child van.
Absolutely. Sweating.
Behind the
like this.
speaker.
There was no aircon in the back there. So you're behind a whole bunch of speakers and you're sweating like hell. And then we always put blankets in the back to make it more comfortable. It's like
It was bad. It was bad.
No air, because it was like a panel van. With no, it was terrible. So I know exactly where I've slept in the same space. Oh my God.
Yes, you agree.
Yeah, no. Any tattoos?
No,
None.
never.
Never thought about it.
I always think that they tend to look bad years later.
And your mind changes. I think like
Exactly.
Like you
I
change
don't-
your mind over years as to what's important in your life.
Yes, and so
Like maybe water is important to you now,
Yeah.
but water is not going to be important to you.
Exactly, yeah,
In
so-
Chinese, whatever it is.
never.
I wonder.
Never.
It'd be interesting to find out from people who've got lots of tattoos. You know, if there's this sell-by date on them or not.
Oh, I
But it's
don't
part
know.
of it.
So it was something I decided very young
Yeah.
that I didn't want to ever tattoo.
Piercings and tattoos.
I've got
Like
2 over
earrings.
here, and I've got a navel
A belly-
piercing,
a belly-
yeah, a belly ring, because I used to do belly dancing as well. So
now that is totally Nicole.
you knew that though.
You see, she couldn't put that. She couldn't put that in her like what people would be surprised to hear.
Because they
about.
won't be
'Cause I'm
surprised.
so not surprised.
No one's surprised.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, has your life been different than you imagined? And if so, how?
Yes, I think when I was much younger, I thought I'd probably, I thought I was going to end up like lecturing English or something.
could've.
So,
You could have done that. Your mother was probably the English teacher as well. I'm sure.
well, she was. She
Yeah.
was.
So that's why you and Samantha Fenter speak so well.
Right.
Samantha is another wine flippin' guru.
Yes.
Somebody tag Samantha.
Who lives around the
because
corner from
she
me.
She also speaks so well.
She does.
It was her and Faye Barson.
Yeah.
Faye was. I just loved the way they spoke. He spoke, and it's because their mothers were English teachers. Well,
Yes.
Faye's mom was English as well, but Samantha's mom was English teacher
Mm.
as well. And it's strange how that just immediately goes onto your children.
And then I got married at 24, so I was quite young. I thought that something would click when I turned 30. I literally believed that when I turned 30, I'd want children.
Yeah.
And
Not. Not. I find it quite difficult to have children as you get older. You know.
well, I mean,
it takes
it's
forever.
been something that has been an interesting thing in my life, but
Yeah,
but-
so you weren't keen on kids, or you just like.
no, not keen on.
Not keen
No.
on. Just decided that was.
Yeah, and it was
right.
obviously a conversation over the years. I would never make that decision on my own
Yes, of
without.
course.
But it was
Yeah.
it was an interesting
Yeah, and I mean, but your brother's got your brother got kids.
He's got one little one.
Okay, so you've got a niece.
I have a niece.
But
And then
he's-
Matthew's brothers and sisters have got
Oh
plenty.
my God, yes,
so
they're
they're all
plenty. So
grown ups.
Your auntie Nicole.
I'm Auntie Nicole to a almost 40-year-old.
To a 40-year-old already. Good Lord, they must be looking anything on.
No,
God.
they're not allowed to call me Auntie Nicole. They know
No.
that.
They don't call you Auntie Nicole. They're just thinking, Matt married somebody so young. How often do you go on wine tours and tell us about your favorite tour? How often do you go on one?
So as often as possible.
Really?
Yeah. So.
That's all right. You just drag him along.
Well, I mean, Matthew started me on wine.
Is
This
it
is all
really?
his fault.
Oh no ways! I
Our
didn't realize
first
that.
date. He's like, "Do you drink wine?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Here, try wine." So he cannot complain. This is his fault.
Okay. I just remember my mom and dad were also. My mom was out there. She was out
Yes.
there. My dad was always very quiet and reserved. He just did his thing, and he followed along. And she would take him to all these places. It just reminds me of that because I think it's the same thing. It's Nicole taking Matt along and come on, let's go. We're going to this one now. Is it like that, Matt?
Well, pretty much, because now when he says, "Don't overbook us."
And your favorite tour? Tell us about your
Oh,
favorite tour.
that's hard. That's difficult because I'll never forget. I think it was our 1-year anniversary that we did a little tour down that way, and we stopped in Carlottsdorp on the way in. We stayed at this place, and they were painting a mural and Matthew ended up helping paint because
No
Matthew's quite
way.
autistic actually.
Okay.
I'm useless.
Okay.
He,
Surprised. You painted.
he was helping paint the mural. I was on the table with all the gay uncles singing show tunes. And that was the first, pretty much. And that was the first night, and then we went to Robertson and tasted a few places there. And I will never forget. I think that was the time we went to. It was Krona. It was still belonged to the Kronas.
Okay.
And Luke was there, and he's actually my friend Marilisa's cousin.
Yeah.
And he showed us through the cellar and gave us. It was just one of those absolute wonderful moments. All these beautiful moments. We went to Sorensberg. They were brand new. Sorensberg were brand new.
yes.
I'll never forget because we went, and the winemaker was actually standing behind the counter. We didn't know it was the winemaker, but how I knew it was the winemaker was that he poured the wine for us and poured some for himself, took a sip, and then took my glass back, and then took another glass and started pouring from one to the other because he needed to aerate, and then gave it back to me. And that's when I knew I've got the winemaker because he wants me to taste it
Taste it at its perfection.
at its perfection.
Oh wow.
Early memory from Sorensberg, I mean,
I love
those are
Sorensberg.
just
Very nice
amazing,
wines.
amazing
Listen,
wines.
Matthew is thinking of having tiny rabbits tattooed on his head. And this is to look like hairs.
Oh, that's my dad. Oh, no.
like Enzo. My son always, when I make jokes like that, Art, my son goes, they don't think I'm funny at all. And I see Carol Jacobs online as well, all the way from East London. Lovely to have you on, Carol. We're live. You're always there live. I love you. And okay, let's have a look here. Biggest adrenaline rush.
Ooh.
Are you adrenaline junkie?
I actually am.
Oh, are you?
And it drives Matthew nuts because he's the absolute opposite. When I was in third year pharmacy, we did at Canal Walk, they had that Rotanga Junction, and they did that thing, that swing, that they walked, and I had to pull the drawstring.
Like a swing, king swing thing.
Yes, that was one of them. And then having my blister methylated.
Oh yeah, that's rough. That is rough. Okay, okay, this is interesting. What makes you who you are?
I think the fact that I'm okay with the fact that who I am can change.
Oh, so you mean you sort of keep that whole thing open? You want some change to happen. You mean?
Yeah, and I think I quite young said never say never. And especially when one's young, there's a lot of things that that people say try and force you into a belief or this, and I don't reject that, but I like to think that one evolves and changes as one gets older, and And one needs to be open to that.
Open-minded. Okay, so that's a good thing, I think, because everybody has to change. I think and the world changes around you. If you don't know, Gary says that's a very womanly thing to say.
I think for me, one of the biggest things is to become reflexive, and it's difficult for me, and it's difficult for a lot of people, because when you're reflexive, you also have to look at where you are wrong.
Yes, I know, you have to accept when you're wrong. That's hard.
But maybe being very academic, and going into that academic sphere taught me a lot about reflexivity and just that whole thing of looking and then going, okay, where am I? How do I? One of the best ways of doing it is either writing or even just talking to yourself. Talking yourself through things, talking to people about deep issues.
Yeah. Are there any specific things that you've changed your view on over the years?
Oh, so many.
Yeah.
I think one starts off life is quite dogmatic, and I think of my 18-year-old self. I was so sure of so many things.
Yes, you are.
And it's but I love the fact that I'm not so sure of things anymore, and that I have the ability to change my mind and think differently about things, and I think that's a real beauty. That people who speak about there's truth and untruth, but all of us experience life differently, and none of us can say that is the truth because someone else's truth is different. And even what we think is truth is never going to be exactly the same as someone else's truth, because none of us have lived the same life. If that makes sense.
I totally
I'm getting a bit
get
philosophical here.
But it's great. And it's but that openness, it must help in your relationship. I mean, with Matt as well. For a marriage, marriage is like that. You surely you have to change.
I'm extremely happy to have a husband with an incredibly high EQ.
You found the right guy.
Yes, and Matthew is so accepting of this crazy little Dutch girl that
the Hollander
that he got and just loves, and he really has been amazing like that, and just lets me be me, but will also go, hey.
Really? I go this much and no further, Nicole.
It's like,
get off that table. I can imagine. I know you'll push the limits, Nicole.
But yes, that ability to communicate is really important.
Yeah, so you keep that as secret to happy marriage. How long have you been married?
20 years.
20 years? Yeah. Good God, Nicole. 20 years. And the secret there, communication.
Well, I think so. And just, let the person be who they are, and find joy in who they are.
Yeah.
The whole introversion thing, when we finally realized that we had the discussion about extrovert versus introvert, it was such a mind-blowing thing for both of us, because we both realized, wow, and it became so much fun.
Yeah.
I would so love going out with the crew now. Those first few minutes of like, there's nothing to do here, and then you're just like,
chill. Get chill back to it. And that's great. I love that. If you were stuck on a desert island and you could only drink one white wine and one red wine for a year, and you only had 30 seconds to decide, which would you choose? Clock's on.
Okay, right. It's going to be a heavily wooded Chardonnay.
Ooh.
So maybe the Glencollo Quartz. I love the wooded.
Right, I'm wasting your 30 seconds, but...
and the red is going to be a light red. It's going to be something like a Grenache or Pinot Noir. I don't know.
You've got to drink it for a year.
I've got to drink it for a year, but it's going to be a light red.
Okay.
Sure. Do I have to name a brand?
Yeah. Yes.
Name a brand. Oh.
Otherwise, you get nothing.
Otherwise you don't get anything.
Okay, maybe I'll just take the Carbonic Sensor from Lost Boy, because it's lovely and
Lost
light.
Boy.
and interesting, and then a nice
Carbonics.
let's go quartz shard from Glencoe.
Cool.
Let's go there.
Okay, so we went
Or
for
the Whitehall shard. Oh, flip.
the Whitehall Chardonnay.
From Neil Ellis.
Neil Ellis Whitehall Chardonnay.
It's
I like
beautiful,
that.
but yeah, the
I
quartz
like a
is lovely.
Chardonnay as
Yeah,
well.
I love a wooded
And
shard.
a wooded Chardonnay.
Yeah.
That whole buttery thing.
Yeah.
Well, I freaking love it.
I love it. And popcorn.
Yeah.
With popcorn.
Yes. Why can't I have that? Why is it always going to be unwood? Oh, we have an unwooded Chardonnay. I'm like, give me the wood, baby.
Exactly. It's just become so expensive. The barrels are expensive.
The
So,
barrels.
yeah. So, I mean, Matthew and I once did with our little wine club a wine and music pairing.
Oh.
And
What went with the Chardonnay?
each person had to bring a bottle of wine and then music to go with their wine, and they had to explain why. So some people were very like literal, and the song was on. And Matthew and I chose the Constitution Road shard, which is it's Robertson Winery, it's their top tier, nicely wooded. This was a few years back. And we chose Mozart Requiem. And it's one of those things where you know that and the sun comes from behind the clouds and the ray of light, because that's how we feel when we drink a wooded shard. The boy soprano singing this beautiful. And we're like, that's it.
Oh, Cab Sam with some Led Zeppelin, baby. Come on.
But often when we'll have a really nice wooded shard, and you get fewer and fewer these days, we take a sip and we're like,
That's classic. Okay, so which wines would you say are overrated? The Alto Rouge.
Canoncop, because that woman was
Oh, that woman! Damn that woman!
shame. No, they make really good wines. I do understand
Yes.
about the fact that we are trying to make iconic wines, and I don't want to belittle any wine estate.
Yeah.
But some of them are just going a bit ridiculous with the pricing.
Okay. So they mean the pricing's a bit over.
I mean, Molyneux, they make wonderful wines, but
Gary's totally agree with the Molyneux. That's my wife's maiden name. You know, I think, how very dare you?
So that was the first one that came to mind. It's
Yeah.
but
So
yet
when the prices
they
are
make
high.
Cliff Street Red Blend, which is fantastic,
Yeah.
and it's their cheapest wine.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
But
then it's just
but
over the
yeah,
top. from the
if I
price.
have to, and sorry, man, I love,
Yeah.
but it's just
That's too much. Too
It's-
much moolah for what you're doing. Overrated. That's true. And it's often supply and demand.
yeah.
So
Someone's
you
prepared to
might
buy
find-
it.
So it's not necessarily the winemaker's fault or the wine. It's very good wine, but if there's so much demand for it, then there's only so much to give to people. Then your
Yeah.
price is going to go up, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, so the worst job that you've ever had. Do you have any crappy jobs?
Sure.
Did you waitress even?
I didn't. I only helped it because I was always involved in theatre. Nights were out.
Okay.
So I used to have to, but I did do a few of those like kids party things for the Jam Factory when I was doing drama, and like we'd be dressed up. But they were even fun. Oh, probably the worst. I did one for the Jam Factory, and it was at the skating rink, and I cannot ask to save my life. And it was Laura. She's Laura Fulbrook now. She was Laura Kendall back in the
she's
day.
involved in the PMAs,
Yes, absolutely. And also
she's also
pharmacist.
there.
Actually, the reason I studied pharmacy, that's a long story. But
Wow, okay.
I think it was her and me at that one. I think it was her.
She wasn't hated as much as you.
The two of us trying to ice skate while dressed in like purple suits.
Oh, but somebody tag
for
Laura
Nanette.
Fulbrook, please.
For Nanette. Do you remember Nanette?
Yes, Nanette, yes.
So she ran the Jam Factory.
Yes. I'm trying to think of her surname now. Nanette.
Monroe, she was
Monroe. Yes,
initially.
Nanette from Monroe. Absolutely. Oh, lovely guy. You got to
Trying to ice skate.
I've had one of those where I've been introduced as Gino the clown. Like I wear my long shoes and my big nose. Coming soon. Well, that's what we need to have a shoot like this. Okay, if you could do it over again, would you do the same career? Would you do the same thing?
I always say the one thing that I am not regretful of, but I wish that when I was in high school, someone had given me the option of engineering.
Engineering.
Yeah, because what I really found when I worked in manufacturing, I really enjoyed the engineering side of things. And I think because I was so theatrical and that, and also because girls, they weren't putting us in that direction.
No, it was...
If I'd known, because I love the problem-solving side of it, and I actually love taking things apart and putting them back together.
I could totally see you in engineering.
And I
maybe
quite...
building, like civil engineering, or you're talking about like just...
I would probably have
like
gone with
steel
industrial or mechanical, but very possibly industrial, because there's a lot of problem-solving there.
I could imagine you building a bridge. You know what I mean?
Thanks. Not after a few wines.
You build those one like this.
A relative of mine built the Van Stadens Bridge.
Oh.
Yes, was very involved with the...
The Italians were there building the bridge as well.
Yes. So
Very
he
much.
actually...
Wow.
We've got the illuminated address to James McEntee, who was very involved in the building of the Van Stadens Bridge, my mom's side of the family.
You know, my nono was involved in there very much. My nono. Yeah, so all the Italians were building those things as well.
So-
They probably knew each other.
Probably.
No.
Back in the day.
Okay.
Do you know that my grandfather was a prisoner of war in Italy?
Was he?
My mom's dad was a prisoner of war in
In
Italy.
Italy. We actually caught him.
Yes.
We caught the bastard.
But it
That's what we
sounds
did.
it sounds like he had not the worst time there, because
No,
he
he
actually kept
wouldn't
in touch.
Bring pasta every day.
I never met my
Don't
maternal
worry.
grandparents.
Don't worry. We just wait for the Americans to come, and then it's going to be all right. Don't
If there's
worry.
anything I'm sorry for in life, is that I never met my maternal grandparents. I would have loved to have met my mom's.
As an adult as well, wouldn't it be nice? Eh?
Yeah. I mean, I knew my dad's parents,
Yeah.
but I never knew my mom's. They both died before I was born.
Wouldn't it be cool to meet your grandparents now when you're older as well? It's so cool to have a chat to them and see the similarities. And stuff. I always think about that, you know. My nonna was in the army, but he was in the army before the war started. It's crazy. He must have been in the early 30s. And my boy's just Enzo has just found this game now. It's got these online games, you know, these things, and it's Italy in the early 30s, and he's in Verona, which is the same city.
Oh, lovely.
And they've rebuilt the city. It's amazing. So you can actually go to where my nonna was.
No, that's amazing.
That's crazy.
Well, I was in Holland for the first time for a proper amount of time recently, and went and walked the streets of where my dad is from, in Rotterdam.
Rotterdam.
Yes.
Was he in Rotterdam?
Well, I
Oh,
mean,
my
that's
word.
where he was
You know,
born.
we played in
and-
Rotterdam with Eminent Child. You know?
Yes, I know. I remember.
At the Troubadour. It was fantastic.
So I went and walked some of the streets of the last address that he lived in, and that was really, really special.
And his family over there?
There are still family. I didn't really see many of them. I don't know his family well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I spent most of the time with other people I know in
Well, the
the
wine.
My friend Izzy, who worked with me at Fresenius, we had a jolt.
Okay, no, we're not going to keep you any longer
Yeah.
because you've got to go off to another, not a tasting, but a little bit of a drink.
A birthday drink.
With who? Where are you going? What's the name?
Imka Smith.
Imka Smith. Go on, somebody tag Imka. She's coming to you now. Gary's got another question. What is something that people will be surprised to find out about the wine industry?
I think people think that they all have so much money.
Yes. They
And
do.
I
It's
think
just a
that's-
tax dodge.
I think that's where they would be surprised that it's actually there are wine farms that are really struggling and are really trying hard, and it's everyone seems to think that every wine farm can just give away all their wine, and no, it's a lot harder than that. So, support the wine industry.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a brilliant tourism thing as well. We have to support our own industry. We've got such good wines.
We do, and I mean that's the thing. You go overseas. So I was in the Netherlands for 2.5 weeks, and we were paying on average for very average Italian or Spanish wine 200 rand plus. And in South Africa for 200 rand you can get a really great wine.
Really, really good wine.
You can get a really nice wine.
But there's lots to choose from. I mean, doing these wine tastings, I realised that month after month we do these tastings, and the wines are always of such a good quality. You know, how many wines can you possibly have in one country that are really, really good? You know, so South Africa's got a brilliant wine industry. You're right. Oh, Gary's typing away.
Yes.
Typing away there.
Oh,
he's
favorite
giving-
wines
he's
are one
giving-
and one.
He's
Oh.
he wants to talk about price points, I think.
100 rand, 200. Oh, flip! Now it's hard because no, you see, now you're throwing me under
200
the
rand
bus.
wise. So,
You're throwing me under the bus
It-
because I know trade price.
oh, right, no. Oh, yeah. So you got to guess. You got to guess the retail. You got to guess retail. Roundaboutsies.
Okay, let's.
So for affordable wines under 200 rand. Let's say.
Stellenrust, I think, is an
Stellenrust.
amazing farm for
Amazing.
the sort of 100 rand mark.
Yeah,
Or see, some of our I'm talking on-con, off-con.
Yes.
People don't know the industry.
On consumption, so that's in the pub, in the pubs,
and that, and then off consumption being the bottle stores.
Bottle stores and
So
that
it
sort of
becomes a
thing.
little bit difficult because I see both, because we do both.
Okay.
And you
Yes.
see, I'm always just looking for that absolute little flippin' hidden gem.
Yeah.
So Stellenrust, I love their wines. Green Eddy Cab, I think, is just so lovely. And it's around about the 100 and something rand.
Cab,
mark.
cabs.
Yeah, the Green Eddy Cab is
Yeah,
so
Glen-
soft.
Glen-
Try two wines if you share those price points.
Okay, go to.
Go to wines.
You see, we buy a lot of Axe Hill from Mike Nee, but no one can find it in PE. I need to bring Mike down. That's in
We
those
can
price
buy for
points,
you.
and it's amazing. Well, I need to get him into shed as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Getting-
personally, oh flip, it's so hard.
Into
We've got-
shed, she
we we have so much wine. Yeah, the Montpellier Spesniesberg, but they sold out for this year already.
Spesniesberg.
Really
Is it a
great
blend?
quality blend, yeah.
Blend, white, red.
Red, but they've got the white as well, which is sort of around 100.
Okay.
100 rand mark.
lovely.
Okay, let's talk value at the higher end. Okay, so the more higher end, you know, we very seldom buy anything over 300 rand a bottle.
Okay.
Because to me, it's on a logarithmic curve.
Yeah.
The wine gets exponentially more expensive, and the quality gets minusculely better.
Yes, only a little bit better, yeah.
Let's think of some of the wines I've
parabola.
really enjoyed lately. I love the Amica from Neil Ellis as a interesting Sauvignon Blanc and the White Horse Shard. Really lovely wines. I love the mint from Thelema. Only because I like to go to Gypsy Shawarma and have a lamb salad with the mint from Thelema.
Lamb salad, Philip will love that as well.
Oh, it's the
lamb.
best place. Yeah, a little punt to Jeff and Gypsy.
is that
It's an amazing little.
Where is it?
It's Stanley Street.
Stanley Street. A
yeah.
mint, what is
A
it?
lamb salad.
Lamb
and
salad.
they're not licensed, so you take your own wine.
Lovely.
It's-
So in Stanley Street, what is it
No,
called?
it's
again?
under where Bohemia used to be.
Okay, what is it called again?
Gypsy Shawarma and fish.
Gypsy shawarma and
It is
fish.
so well priced.
Tag them. Tag them.
Your cousin knows it well.
Oh,
Whenever
sure.
I go there, he and Terry Lynn and the boys are there.
Sean, my cousin, Sean Foggs, he's in there, the architect.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing. And I mean, yeah, great.
I have to
food.
ask him. We've got a big family wedding this weekend. We're gonna
It's a very small spot, but is it
good food.
great food and honest? It's honest food.
I just love that. I love a small spot and the thing.
Yeah.
Flavor used to be like that old John
It's
as
even
well.
smaller than that.
Yeah. Oh, really? Fantastic. I love that.
But,
And then
yeah.
you feel like you're special.
It's the food is just great.
Yeah.
And then let's think, what else?
Cab Sabs.
I love cabs, but I'm liking the lighter cabs, to be honest, at the moment.
Yeah.
But yes, that Thelema is the mint is a cab.
Okay.
And then I enjoy some of the Grenaches. It was, I've really enjoyed some of Enzamate's. Enzamate's Shannon is beautiful. Enzamate, they've got a 5-star Shannon. They get 5 stars for their Shannon every year. So that's a sort of higher price point.
And the
Yo,
Shannons are doing well. There's a lot of
beautiful,
competition in that Shannon
beautiful
thing.
wine.
Okay.
And what was it that I really enjoyed at Frank's show? It was one of the Neil Ellis. Was it
Eenzaamheid. Like loneliness.
yeah.
Eenzaamheid.
Oh, another one that I really enjoyed the other day was the Arbeidsgenot Tannie Donna.
Oh,
It's a white blend.
Tannie Donna. Ken jy hom?
It's also in about the 300 rand mark. Yo,
good,
it's
eh?
lovely. He used to be the winemaker at Meerhof, Jaco from Arbeidsgenot, and his red blend a few years ago for Meerhof was one of my favorite wines of the year.
Okay.
It was a Rhone blend.
Cool.
Beautiful.
What's the Rhone blend? I don't know what.
Okay,
goes
so
into it.
Shiraz, and especially so a lot of the Swaziland areas that you get in those sort of wines.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. It's such a hard question because people say, oh, what's your favorite wine? I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
oh, it's
know.
like asking a mom who her favorite child is.
There's lots of
Yeah.
that.
But actually, I was looking at Preston's, your favourite go-to point.
Go-to point at Preston's. You walk into you go into a braai.
Le Brie.
Le Brie.
Anything from Le Brie.
Le Brie.
Le Brie.
We love it. Franchuk.
Yeah,
French
it's just
is-
Irene is amazing. Her bubble is fantastic.
Yeah.
Her Roussan that she does under her double door
What'd you say?
label.
Roussan?
Roussan, oh, it's a beautiful wine. It's
Is it also a blend?
No, it's a single varietal.
Single varietal? What varietal is it?
Roussan.
Is there, I didn't even know there was that. Great.
It's a
Yeah,
great
Roussan.
Roussan.
Great. Wow.
Lovely. And
Okay.
and she does a few experimental wines under the label Double Door. And I love them. They're
Well, now I'm going to try
great.
this Roussan.
Is that Irene still?
Yeah.
Irene, yes, Irene, yes, that's the one. So Roussan, I've got to try that one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, there we go. Oh, Chef Apparat, Irene is special because she grew up in
Oh,
Kimberley.
there we go.
Die groot gat, Jeffrey Applewhite. Yes, I think Jeff was also from Kimberley.
Yes, Jeff's
I
a
bet you
Kimberley.
was a CBC boy, right? CBC.
And the funniest
Very
thing
nice.
is, I mean-
Thelma the Mint and Gypsy are the match made in heaven.
Yes, Jeff. You see, Jeff and I, we've done that.
We've
So
done
we
that.
made a thing at the wine show. Matthew and I bought the mint, and then he brought a bottle of the normal cab, and we took the two of them
Oh, lovely.
to
Okay. Oh,
Gypsy.
and the Mint one.
Well, all no, I mean they were just both amazing,
nice.
but lovely night.
Yeah, well, Elmer is saying also, she says wine is never too expensive, she says. And she also says that the flavour was a favourite for her. Yes, but now John's making too much money online. That's his problem now. He hasn't got time for the smaller restaurant. John Berger. Of course. Was he also with you at school? I can't remember now. He must have been
No, I
older
don't
than
think
you.
so, yeah.
He was older than you. Because I think he was still there when I was there at BP.
Oh, okay, no.
But Nicole Worthington, it's been wonderful to have you online.
Gino, it's been so much fun.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for making the time on a Monday.
Oh, it's a
in the
pleasure.
heat and bringing some beautiful wine for me to taste as
No,
well.
lovely. Come pop into Shed
I
sometime.
will definitely always pop in the shed. And thank you to our sponsors, Fitch and Leeds. And make sure you pop in to Center Stage Bay West if you haven't already for the pantomime. The pantomime is on until the 21st. It's an absolutely amazing show. There we go. There it is. And don't forget that on the 17th, we are having the Fitch and Leeds program. We're getting the Senkob lady on, and we're talking about the penguins, which I love the
Lovely,
penguins. You know,
lovely.
we've got to try and figure out a way to create more awareness for the penguins before we lose these penguins. These penguins are their numbers are being decimated
Yeah.
in the bay as well. So we're going to find a place. I'm going to question this lady to see what we can
Who is
do.
it?
It's the lady from St. Cobb. I'm not sure what her name is, but we're going to come in here, and also Andy, I think from Fitch and Leeds is going to pop in and let us know
Awesome.
what we can do. In the meantime, we can buy those Fitch and Leeds. These are the pineapple. Put some tequila in it, and it's a really nice drink. So ask for it at the bars, at the on-con and the off-cons, whatever it is. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Nicole. I love you
Thanks,
lots.
Gino. That was
Fantastic.
lovely.
And we'll see you next week. Next week, Tuesday. Cheers.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Have a drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino's spot.